Call the October 27 meeting of the Board of Supervisors to order, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, if you would, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Try and do that on Zoom. I think that's fine.
Okay, Amy, budget request for 22.
Yeah, so I'll just tell you what we spent in 2021. We budgeted $500 to Fourth Fest, but we didn't pay that because they had changes to their event and they didn't request the money. We budgeted or gave $1,750 to the Boalsburg Village Conservancy, and that was split as $750 for Memorial Day and $1,000 for Hometown Christmas. $250 to Leadership Center County, $200 to the CCATO Scholarship Fund, $100 to the Get Outdoors Day event, but I don't think we gave them that because they didn't have their event. $487 to the Spring Creek Watershed Commission, and $500 to the Center County Economic Development Partnership. And in addition, you also funded 25% of the Penn State campus weather programming on CNET. We've received the following funding requests: $1,750 to the Conservancy for Memorial Day and Hometown Christmas, $250 for Leadership Center County, 25% of the Penn State campus weather programming on CNET, $500 for the Center County Economic Development Partnership, and then we also got a request in this morning for $500 to fund a memorial bench for the blacksmith, and that would be done through Paula Ralph and the Heritage Museum. She's raised all the additional money, and we're going to put that in for them. And our Spring Creek Watershed Commission contribution will increase to $591 because of our new census numbers.
Goes up once every 10 years, 10 cents a head.
Yes. So Zach Barton from Leadership Center County is here to discuss his request with you, so I suggest you do that first.
At the mic, sir.
Good evening. I'll keep my mask on. If you can't hear me or understand me, just tell me to take it off. But like Amy said, my name is Zach Barton. I'm the Executive Director of Leadership Center County. I've been a Center County resident now for 7+ years. Live in Spring Township. Don't hold it against me. But I come before you guys with a request of $250 to support our educational program. We work with individuals in our community to talk about the issues and challenges of what's happening in Center County, and we educate them about what is here and how they can make a difference. So that's serving on local township boards as you are, getting involved with their school districts, volunteering for local nonprofits in our community, and very proud of the work that we're doing. We've been able to maintain that throughout the pandemic, albeit a little bit differently, doing some virtual work, but we are now back fully in person, working with a class of 41 individuals from the county. 22 municipalities represented. 2 of those individuals are from Harris Township. Overall, out of our 1,000+ graduates, over 70 of them have come from Harris Township and currently claim this as home. So again, I want to thank you for your past support and for considering my request this year. I'd be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
I'll make a motion that we do the following: $1,750 Boalsburg Village Conservancy, $250 Leadership Center County, 25% Penn State campus weather, and $250 Center County Economic Development, and then the adjustment in the Watershed Commission.
Do you want to do the bench for Bill Nutzel?
Sure, yeah.
The $500?
Yeah.
Do you want to keep the Cato Scholarship Fund?
Oh yeah, we didn't write that down.
You didn't drop that down, so I picked up on the ones that were dropped down. You want to do the scholarship then?
And then also, do you want to do Fourth Fest? I didn't move it down because they don't send us a request until July, usually, June.
Yeah, I'll amend my motion on those two. Yeah, okay. Okay.
No, you want to drop the Center County Economic Development to 50.
Yeah, 250.
250.
Same as leadership.
Okay, so basically you want to do the same stuff you did last year, except you want to drop the Center County Economic Development Partnership to 250.
Yeah.
We'll up the Spring Creek Watershed Commission to 591, and you want to do 500 for Bill's bench.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, that's Denny's motion. Do we have a second?
What's that?
Discussion.
What's it? Basically the same, right? Except, what did we drop? Spring Creek Watershed? No.
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 We dropped
Just,
it.
we dropped the development in half.
we dropped
And we're
the-
doing Get Outdoors too.
Yeah, we won't know if the outdoors come in, because
The outdoors day.
that's basically
Oh, that's the.
that's the hot dogs, isn't it?
That's the
Yeah.
hot dogs.
Yeah.
That's the
Well,
Trout Unlimited.
Yeah.
Well, I would say, I mean, is it something that we could use from discretionary? It's $100. It's not like it's
We can
a
keep it
million.
in the budget.
If
for
they
next
come in
year.
and, you know, it doesn't get in the budget, we can find $100.
I think we
I'm
did that the first year they came to us.
They came to us when in the middle of the year. We can keep it in the $100, and just like we do with Fourth Fest, we keep that in every year as well.
Yeah, Judy came and asked us for that money, so, okay.
sure. Okay, one quick comment.
Sure.
On the Cato Scholarship Fund, is being able to see all those applications this year, there were none from Harris Township, again. I would say that I would like to see us at least send some kind of maybe a letter from the township to St. Joe's. You know, that's in our township, and remind them that the scholarship's out there. Maybe we can get a couple, you know, applications from St. Joe's, if nothing else.
Having been in the position of reviewing those for about 5 years, State College was continuously absent.
Yeah, State
Right,
College,
right.
get none from State College.
The last one we had was an adult student from Kaywood. And she appreciated it.
Yeah. And like I said, I would at least send St. Joe's a little note saying that it's available.
Yeah, we can do that.
Discussion? We had a motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Fine, thank you. Capital improvement plan included in the packet.
Yes, so.
Got some big items on it this year.
Yeah, we have some big stuff
big
coming
grid.
up this year. Yep. So I'll go down and start reviewing this, and you guys can stop me with any questions that you might have. And I'll just do 2022 and maybe touch on 2023, and then if you have questions in the out years. Because if you remember, when we do this, the idea is it's a placeholder for projects that are coming up, so then we know they're coming, but the out years, we're kind of guesstimating a lot on those budget numbers. So for infrastructure, we had $5,000 that we budgeted. We started this project 2 years ago to do a village tree plan. We got all the information from Bill Elmendorf, and then we got busy with the Bowl Avenue tree planting, buffer planting project. So we typically pick this up in the winter because one of our members is a landscaper, and he's very hard to get to come to a meeting in the summer because he's obviously working. So we'll pick this up again in the winter, and we want to get this finished. We're looking at some amendments to the shade tree ordinance, and we're also looking at some buffering stuff and maybe helping the planning commission with some of that work. So we'll get that finished this year. We have $5,000 budgeted. I will say that we have not paid a dime yet for this project to Bill, so I'm waiting to see if Bill will. Yeah, he's a good guy. I mean, he's done so much work for us. So
One quick comment on that. And you know, seeing how many trees need planted in certain, like when you do subdivisions and stuff, are we over planting it all? I mean, it seems like we're putting a ton of trees in small areas.
So that's one of the concerns. I will say that at our maintenance facility, we had 38 trees that we lost. So we walked it with Scott Burke. Scott has been so gracious with his time. We walked it with him, and the comment that we had is, and Scott said, you know, these engineers are just plopping trees on a plan. They're not landscape architects, and they're not necessarily spacing things out appropriately. So one of the things the Shade Tree Commission would like to do is help the Planning Commission update those buffer requirements, because it's not working real well.
Well, it's not, it's the township requirements are killing them. It's not the land architects. They know
well,
what to do, but they have to put so many trees, they have to create a forest, and those trees are half dead. So yes, they need to look at that. We've known that for years.
Well,
It's
I'll
not
tell you
recent.
where, when I drove by it made me, when they put the new intersection down there at Potter's Mills Gap, that, you see that island out there? There's more trees, they're gonna be killing each other trying to figure out which one's gonna grow. I mean, there's
Well,
way
we've
too
known
many
this
trees.
for years. It's, I guess they're gonna take it up at the planning commission, shade tree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not
the
anti-tree,
planning
but I think we're doing a little over.
Well, sure you are. It's way over. Everybody looks at it, agrees to that.
Yeah, so that's definitely something they want to help the Planning
But
Commission.
that's not gonna cost money yet.
No, that's not going to cost us any money.
No.
So the village tree plan is looking at our regulations in the village. We have the sidewalk tree conflict that we've been trying to solve for eons, and seeing if we can identify appropriate locations for trees and keep from putting trees in inappropriate locations where they don't thrive. So and looking at our ordinances to see if they need changes. The Spring Creek Estates contribution, this is part of that PRP, the pollution reduction plan we had to do as part of our MS4 permit. It won't be $6,000. Jerry tells me the work's already done. Someone just has to bill us, but he said to keep the $6,000 in for this year, so we did. Academy Street, where it ties into the new part of Emma Court, when they were tying in, they noted that our culvert pipe is in fact in really bad shape. And so we looked at it and we think doing a direct replacement is the easiest thing to do. We looked at slip lining, but there's a high pressure gas line up there and we thought the direct replacement would be easier. So we have $60,000 and that's liquid fuels eligible budgeted in next year for that. Willowbrook, oh, I skipped the culvert. It's like the cursed intersection, Mary Elizabeth Street.
We may get that done for free.
Yeah, so
Now we
that,
got the guy hitting it, yeah. They
So-
put a hole in the road.
no, he did not put a hole. I would be in the fetal
Well,
position.
I'd say to make that intersection safe, that's part of the destruction.
Yeah, I wish. Anyway, so we have $647,100 for that project. I looked at, because they'd mentioned that we could probably get that 80% reimbursed through the Center County MPO, but we'd have to pay up front. So I talked to Dwight and I looked at the Pennsylvania Infrastructure Bank loan program. They'll loan us money at 1.625%. So Dwight was saying as long as there's no penalty for early payback, he thinks that that's what we should do. So, and we can use the ARPA funds to make up the other 20% that we would have to pay on our own. So we are using a combination of that for this project because we do have some money in for design as well already this year and then for next year. Willowbrook, the curb and gutter, we're finally going to finish that project. We were just looking at failing structural curb and gutters. We have $7,500 in the general fund to complete that next year. That's been a multi-year project.
Is that in the house?
No, we send that out for quotes. Yep. Traffic signal maintenance, we have $15,000 in. We're gonna look at changing some battery backups out. I think we have one generator hookup that we still need to install, so we'll do that next year.
We carry that forward for 4 years? I keep saying 15,000.
We have,
25, 26?
yeah, we do, because every year we have to do maintenance. It's about $7,000, $7,500 for regular maintenance. This allows us to do some additional things that might need to be done. Although now the intersection's gonna be completely redone down at Warner
Hey,
Boulevard.
no maintenance on that light anymore, that's for sure.
Is the signal at Mary Elizabeth anywhere in the next, up to 2026, in there with respect to advancing the maintenance of that to where we would be on the new ones?
It already has the generator hookup and it already has its battery.
It
So,
did?
yeah, so we're just gonna start changing things
Okay.
out. It'll get fresh batteries probably out of all of
Nothing
this.
nothing that we can improve based upon the accident?
No.
Okay.
And then we have $15,000 in for the sidewalk improvements through the village. We're continuing that project. I told Jerry Northridge that we really need to sit down and come up with an endpoint because this has been going on for a long time now.
Weird.
5, I think. And so we need to sit down and talk about what our goals are and how we can continue, because we wanted to replace bad sections of intersection and we want to make sure we're, or
What's that targeted for?
we haven't discussed yet where, but probably East Main. East Main has some pretty bad stretches there.
Okay.
Did we talk at one time about feeding the sidewalks to the residents after they've been,
We talked about, we would have that conversation when we finish this project.
okay, so,
I mean, total responsibility to that?
Because in other areas,
They do.
yeah, in the borough, if your sidewalk needs replacement, they're gonna pave, you have to, it's your responsibility. And our language is not clear.
I'll be out of office for that.
I mean, that's a discussion point. Okay, and then we have in municipal building improvements, so we're looking at 2 things for next year. Supervisor Haymeister asked us to think about replacing the windows in this meeting room. They've not been touched since I've been here.
What's that?
Replacing the windows in this room.
Oh,
So we got a quote on that. And then also we're gonna complete the municipal building parking lot project. We're in the process, Donnie's been working with CJ Henry, who had his barn taken down, of identifying someone who can come in and look at that. We'd like to get that down this year, and then next year we'll do some paving and we'll do some landscaping
That
to
was-
make it look nice.
That barn came down with the company out of Ohio.
Yeah,
They
so,
did 4 of them in Harris Township.
yeah, so Donnie's working on that for me to try to get somebody in to look at it.
If we can't, simple visit to some of my Amish contractor friends, I'm sure we can get that done.
Yeah,
you want that down tonight?
no,
No.
Well, you just take that turn a little short, it's coming down.
Get that dump truck guy back.
oh God.
That's all I got to park his truck up here now, he did everything else.
So those are the infrastructure projects we have planned for next year. Do you guys have any questions on
Any
those?
siding maintenance, loose siding coming on. Has Jerry walked around the building to see if we need any?
Jerry doesn't do anything with the
Well,
building.
whoever does it, we need to, someone needs to take a look and make sure the siding's not coming off, nails are popping out.
We fix what we find, but I
Well,
think long-term, we're probably gonna wanna look at the siding. The guys wanna take the tree down in front of my office, which I fight tooth and nail every single year.
Well, that's another issue, but you can't forget the building itself, because there are some places it does need maintenance.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking on the back page here where you put all 2022s in the same column. And under traffic
Back
signals.
page?
Yeah, this page right here.
What page?
All the way
It
back?
has 2022.
The first one after the.
It's the
narrative.
summary page.
Oh, the first, page number 2?
No, number 9, page 9.
Okay.
Oh, the infrastructure page,
Yeah,
yeah,
no.
okay.
And one of the questions I had on there is if you go down to traffic signal, generator hookup for Route 45-322 off ramp. Now, my question is, we've looked at the road diet, and I know we haven't, it's far off yet, it's not gonna be like next year, but my question is this: if one of the proposals for that intersection was gonna change. Now, if we put this generator hookup in there, is it gonna be something that will be transferable when they do that? Or are we gonna pay $3,000 now and have to do it again when they change the intersection? I guess that's my
So-
question.
So this is not this light here, it's the light at the off-ramp. It's not the
Yeah.
light at Main Street.
Oh,
It's the next one up.
the next one up. Okay,
Yes.
okay.
It's
I
the
thought you
one
were talking
that's,
about here.
that before Mary Elizabeth Street's today taking over
I
as
gotcha.
the most possessed
gotcha.
intersection. It was the most possessed light in Harris
Okay,
Township.
I got you. I
So
thought it
it's
was this
just
one out
a
here.
generator backup, yep.
Okay.
And then we did have to replace the batteries in Warner Mary Elizabeth, but we can obviously move that to a different traffic signal.
Are all of that preemption now? We have preemption units on all?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Mhm. In fact, that was the first thing the fire company said to me this morning. Amy, our preemption's not working. As they held it up to me from the ground, I was like,
It wasn't.
okay. So then moving on to road projects. So we're going to continue on. We're almost done with Roslyn Road. Roslyn Road is a huge road. So we'll overlay from Forbes Field Circle to part of Ramsey,
Up in-
Hunt Ridge Manor.
Hunt Ridge, okay.
And that project will be completed, if it's not next year, or if not 23, it's 24. Might be 24. No, it's 23, it'll be completed. And then we're gonna start a multi-year project on the Bullsburg Pike, which I think we hear a lot. I know Nigel probably hears a lot from folks that drive up there because the ride quality is pretty bad. The Water Authority is actually replacing the water line. They did from Apollo to Lee this year, and then they're gonna go down from Lee to Bull Avenue over the next 2 to 3 years. So we're gonna pave from Kimport to Nittany View Park next year, so that'll pick up that area that they just did. And then we'll do in the following years the rest of the road, so we'll continue on with that.
The quality of what they did overlay was probably less than.
There was some, no, there was a miscommunication. We met with them on site, and they thought we were paving this year, so they
Okay.
didn't, they just did base. They went back and they overlaid the areas that we're not gonna pave next year, so we're not paving, milling up new pavement. So they worked with us on that. And then we will finish the K Street Rocky Lane tie-in with Rocky Ridge. That's an $8,500 project. That's a very small one. Slurry Seal, we'll do half of Meadowlark Lane next year. That's a giant road as well. So that'll take care of all of our road projects. Do you have any questions on the road projects?
Well, that'll take, on page 13, that'll take the top 4 off.
Yes.
The 70s, the 70, the 65, and the 60. Correct?
Yep. Yeah, so if you look at the road survey, the higher the road scores, the worse shape it's in. And we try every year, we sit down and when we evaluate what roads to do, we try to pick the ones off that are very high.
Is Outer Drive then in 2023?
No, Outer Drive is later.
Okay. That's not a heavily used
No,
road, is it?
no.
Okay.
And then Parks and Rec work, we're gonna replace,
Are these all the roads?
yes.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, okay, I saw, okay,
Let's
they're
get
page,
rid of
page
it.
14, okay.
Before we move on, liquid fuels tax money,
Mhm.
how stable is that gonna be? What are we looking at?
Well, it went down a little
Well,
bit.
it went down a little bit because of people not driving as much, but it wasn't significant. It wasn't as bad as everyone thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
Is the electric vehicle impact, do we feel any of that in Rounder? Minor kind of stuff?
I can't tell, but, we expected a much more significant drop with COVID and people working from home. than what we ended up seeing.
Does the electric vehicle industry project anything like that with respect to, does PennDOT project that kind of stuff?
No, they don't.
That's part of the issue with the Pell study they just did about looking at alternatives.
Yeah.
Because the electric cars are not participating because they're not paying any liquid fuels, and the hybrids are paying less liquid fuels. So
Right.
that is something, that's one of the reasons it started that
I
Pell
don't think
study.
it's not that much of an
I'm
impact.
sure it's not gonna
Not
have a
yet.
major impact next year, but.
Good going down the road.
In the out years,
Yeah.
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 be a significant.
In a typical year, Amy, how much do the road numbers shift? Like, take a page 13, was I on, the fourth?
It depends on the activity on the road. So
And the severity of winter?
sometimes it's winter, sometimes it's what's going on. South Church Street, for example, South Church Street, we actually did microsurfacing on in 2011, I believe. And South Church Street was like my poster child for how great microsurfacing looks. And now there's been some construction activity on that road, and that road is really taken a beating from the trucks. And even though we bond it, it's not a lot that we get the money for. And I should mention, next year, we're gonna do a stormwater project in-house to address some water problems on South Church Street coming from West Crestview. And we're also gonna do a stormwater project on East Drive to address some concerns that we have down there as well. So when we look at these roads, and South Church Street, we probably should do next year, but we wanna fix the stormwater first and then go back in and do the overlay.
And should we have any activity in Hawk Ridge, we could anticipate some kind of a number change on Academy?
Perhaps. I mean, what we try to do, so like Kaywood is a good example.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
roads in Kaywood got beaten by Kaywood North. So we want to go in and we want to pave the rest of those roads. We did Carmel Street this year, the piece that ties into Kaywood North. But we want to wait because we know there are more building going on in the new Kaywood North estates.
And they tried to use only one entrance
They
on the
did, and
45 to get into.
They bonded the road, and we did actually go out. We had a separate bond for that. We have a separate bond for Academy Street.
Okay.
And we did go out and inspect and had them do some repair work.
Okay.
So we try to time our projects in these areas to when the project's gonna end, the development's gonna end.
So my question is answered simply saying it's a use factor.
Yes, yep.
Okay.
It might be useful in future years to list the previous year's scores and highlight the ones that we've worked on, but also being able to see how things have changed.
Like a double column kind of thing?
Yeah, just an extra column there.
Okay, we can do that. Typically, when we pave a road, it goes down to 0 then. 'cause
Yeah.
there's-
Yeah, we have a lot of those in the,
Yeah, well, that'll identify that, and that's a kudo, but also it'd be nice to know, like, something really deteriorated versus it slipped a couple of points.
Yep.
that whole page 14 is in very good shape, you know, from 22 to 7. Then you get into 7 to 0 and 15, so we have a lot of them in very good shape.
We have, and I mean, that's to your credit. I think that we've been on a project here since before I got here to work on our roads, and we've really made steady progress with that. And our guys go out and they're always taking a look at the roads, and we're trying to adjust mid-year when we have to. Okay, so moving on.
Questions, more road questions, maybe? Okay, go ahead.
Okay, moving on to the Parks and Rec projects. Blue Spring Park, the pavilion has a leak in it, so we have money in the budget to replace the roof. We'll put a metal roof on there. Frank had a great suggestion when talking to me last night about this, and he said, why don't we pick one color for a metal roof, and then we can replace all of our pavilions. Now, Kaywood would be a little different because their pavilion's a little different, but we could have a standard uniform color for all of our pavilions for the roofs.
Is it a shingle or a metal?
No, it's not. It'll be
Okay.
another one.
I think that's a great suggestion. Okay, Bud does not.
Well, I don't care, what do I care what color
He
roof
made
it
a
is?
face.
Well, I don't know, we have, what's our township color, maroon?
Yeah, maroon and
Green,
gray.
maroon, whatever.
My grandmother would say, Mox Nix. Matters not.
Okay.
Whatever we get a good price on.
We'll let the Parks and Rec committee
Yeah.
talk about that. We have $3,500 budgeted out of the money that we got from the developer for Harpster Park to do some trees and benches. When we met with those folks back in the spring, they are pretty vehemently opposed to a gazebo. So we said that we would extend the one pavilion from, they want to go over from Harris Avenue side up to their, one side of their development. So we would extend the pathway,
way.
put in some trees and put in some benches next year. And then we'll, in 2023, I think we need to revisit the gazebo thing and see what's going on.
And that path off of Harris leads into the gazebo from on the other side.
No,
Does
it leads up,
Oh, okay,
up into their development.
okay.
We would like to finish the amphitheater project. We wanted to do that this year, and then the price of everything went crazy, so we held that off to next year. We have applied for funding to put in 2 ADA accessible fishing piers at Tussey Pond Park. We applied for, it's $32,000 project. We applied for $27,200, and we would match $4,800, and that's through DCED. So we'll find out about that. We will install half of a path. We're going to do like a U around the pond that would connect the 2 piers. And even if we don't get the money, we'll still in-house put that path in because we'd like to. There's a lot of usage up there. We'd like to do something.
We haven't received the 32, we simply applied for it.
We applied for it.
Okay.
And then the diamond, we actually got a design from Scott's Landscaping to change that out. I asked for it to be something that incorporates. We had a resident who planted knockout roses and some other flowers in the one planter. So I wanted to incorporate the knockout roses, but then I wanted a design that is low maintenance because we don't have people that really go down. We do have some people, but we don't have a reliable volunteer base down there. And that's something that doesn't get weedy. So we have money in there to change those plants over. We would do that in the spring. So do you have any questions on the 2022 capital improvement
Is
program?
Scott willing to be, sort of be the consultant on that?
They gave us their landscape designer. He said we wouldn't charge you for
good,
that, and she did
good.
the design for us. It's a great design.
Good.
How do you know the fishing bars are gonna be $32,000?
That's we got an estimate from our engineer when we applied for the grant.
So you've already got a design.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was that? Was that before the lumber increase?
He escalated the price for the lumber because we applied over the summer.
Want to do a little 2023 update and of anything that might be frightening on that page? Or
Well,
the
one thing-
numbers go down a lot, so.
Yeah, one thing we want to talk about, not today, but I've mentioned it in the budget memo. We need to do some serious financial planning this coming year because we have some significantly large projects we need to look at in terms of stormwater and this MS4 stuff that we have to do, the PRP. So we're looking at projects to repair the Willowbrook Basin retrofit, which is $45,000. And in 2024, we have money in to do the stream restoration at the Military Museum, which is $72,000. These are projects we have to show the state that we're doing. And so that's going to impact where the funding's coming from. And I'm not in any way suggesting we want a stormwater tax, but we need to think about those buckets of money that we have and how we're using those buckets of money.
Stream water restoration at the Military Museum?
Stream restoration project, yeah.
Where was that?
So that's something that was identified in the pollution reduction plan that was submitted by our consultant on behalf of the MS4
Where in the
partners.
museum, where in the?
I honestly don't know much about it, other than it's in there, and we pushed it off to 2024.
And that won't fall upon the shoulders of the general state in terms of helping us do any of that.
No, we have to pay for it, yeah,
I'm making that point.
yeah.
But I'm not sure where on there. I'm curious, well, I guess I can find out.
I can ask Mr. Northridge.
It doesn't matter, you just have to spend the money.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, the
that's-
state-
That's probably true. You spend the money, they're happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the state says we have to show that we're doing these pollution
We started carrying
reduction.
rocks down there now. We could have enough rocks down there to do it.
If we get another 15,000 traffic signal maintenance, and that carries over to another
I
3
think we
or
need
4
some
years, so.
stream restoration up here at 45 and 322.
What?
I would take a look at that.
And then the other thing to think about as we move forward is the Bullsburg Pike culvert. We have money in I think it's
24.
24, yep, because we're gonna finish paving, and then there's some work that needs to be done on that culvert itself. Now, we have the ARPA money that we can use for stormwater projects, which is great, but that's another thing we need to think about, because that's another, these culverts now all decided they wanna get old all of a sudden and fail.
Wolfsburg Pike, is that the one
It's by the military museum,
across it?
right across from the little bridge that Gert Aaron built.
That's the bridge one, okay.
Yep. So just some things that I think as we move into 2022, we wanna keep an eye on and discuss.
Well, that big bridge of 647 takes that 2022 out of perspective with respect to the others. I mean, the others aren't, they're not comfortable, but they're more doable.
Well, because the others don't have the other
Yeah,
projects
that's
that
what I
come
mean.
up, yeah.
They don't have that big culvert replacement job, so. Question? Okay, good. Okay, Amy?
So if you're okay with this, we will get this prepared for you to adopt on November the 8th at your meeting, that resolution.
Okay.
On the Bullsburg Pike Kenport, is there some infrastructure to that, on that pike? stormwater work and
Jerry does,
from Memorial Drive up? I mean,
we're doing it from Kimport to the park.
I know, but is there infrastructure on that too? Stormwater?
He does have money in there for some stormwater work on that section.
But then we
that
have to
we're
do the
doing.
lower part also.
Yes,
Why don't we do
and,
that all at once?
no, we'll do it as we pave, because the contractor will do it as they work on it.
That's my point. Why don't we do it all at once?
The whole pipe.
Well, it seems to me it's bad. Why it would be set up and tear down? They're in there, done. It's the same thing with this bridge
You mean
that
the
we
pump
talked
station
about.
all the way
repair.
out to?
Well, if we're going to pave that apparently from Memorial Drive,
We're gonna pave it from Bull Avenue to Nittany View Park eventually.
from Bull Avenue to Nittany View Park, which is this
is
side of
the
the
whole
bridge,
road,
this side of the bridge.
What do you mean the side of the bridge?
Well, from Bull Avenue
From
to
322.
Nittany View Park eventually.
It's the whole road.
Well, it seems to me, I would check economy of scale. Would we do it all at once? Would save thousands of dollars.
Pave the entire road all at once?
I would say, yeah.
If we pave the entire road all at once, that will probably cost us $200,000.
Well, how much is it gonna cost if we do it half and half?
Well, we're not doing it half and half, we're doing it in 3 sections.
Okay,
And also
what's it
the,
in three, how much is it gonna cost to do it in 3 sections?
well, it's $80,000 next year.
3/8 or $160,000.
It's more money than we have. at that
Well,
point.
no, wait a minute.
Because you
maybe-
would have to, wait, let me finish.
Well, let's look get engineering. I'm just suggesting, let's have engineers look at that and see what
We-
economy we can do doing it.
We can look at it, but you'd have to wait until they were done doing the water line
I don't
project.
disagree with
So
that.
it would sit for 2 or 3
Maybe we
years.
should wait. How long are they gonna do the water line?
It goes till 2024.
If they're gonna do the water line, so they're scheduling water lines all the way through for the next 2 years.
Yeah, they're doing it in chunks as well.
Okay.
If it worked for that, I think it'd probably be a good
Yeah,
idea.
I didn't know why can't they do the water line quicker?
Cost issues.
Well,
Same as
well,
us.
there's no cost issue with the water authority.
That's all I'm saying.
There's no cost issue with it. $10 million sitting in the bank, don't know what the hell to do with it. There's no cost issue with
Yeah,
it.
that's all I'm saying.
Well,
I
I
can-
think
I
we should
can-
look at that.
I can get you a price to pave the whole thing.
I would get some engineering design, some engineering opinion on that. Let's just go there.
I just added,
I just know how this project runs.
but I just added the 3 segments. It's $205,000 to do them in 3
And
segments.
it might cost $160,000 to do it now.
23, 24, 25.
But I don't know where your
what's that,
160,000 would come from.
You said 80, well, I don't, we're borrowing,
We don't have-
let's, okay.
What I'm saying is, we don't have, we use our liquid fuels
So-
money for the overlays. Wait,
Okay,
time
but
out.
we don't have money, but we're gonna it's gonna cost us more than the money we don't have. Either way, my point is,
That's-
let's let the engineering look at that whole
I mean,
thing.
we typically do all these projects in chunks,
I know
because
we
then we can
typically
do
do
more
that.
than one
I
project a
agree.
Give
year.
us some numbers, we can compare things.
I can ask the engineer for that,
Yeah.
sure.
Because it doesn't make sense to do it in 3 different phases, it's gonna cost 30, 40, 50% more. And it does,
See what they say.
yeah.
Okay, I'll check
Okay.
into that. Anybody else?
No,
have any
I'll
other-
ask him, no, you don't ask him.
I'm just gonna ask Jerry Northridge.
Okay.
Okay,
Anybody else have any additional questions?
we're fine with that.
Okay, so I'll look at that and have that for you
Okay,
next week.
okay.
Okay,
Flip it over. Budget
so
discussion.
I just wanted to talk about tonight, we have the COG scheduled for next week. They'll be here, Eric and Joe. I wanted to do personnel next week, because I have a couple moving parts I gotta nail down for you on that. And then we'll do the maintenance budget next week. So tonight I just wanted to talk about the police budget, and I will say that it went up $3 an hour from what was recommended to us at our meeting October 11th. So it's an hourly rate of $113.32, and we budgeted for 76 hours a week. So just wanted to get your thoughts on what you want to do with that.
Well, the reflective 3-year difference in 2020, it was 489.5. 21, it was 503.19, and in 22, it's 447.840. So it's dropped drastically because of the recalculation on pensions.
Yes, because of
Yeah.
the market returns
Yeah.
on the pensions, the borough doesn't have to
And
contribute
the
as much to the.
The difference in per resident cost, 2020 was $90.53. 2021 was $93.18, and 2022 is $75.74 per
That's
resident.
gonna be a little bit higher than that, right?
And
Well, it's
No,
one,
these are the new rates.
Those are the new
These
figures.
the new rates, yeah. Per day, per resident is 21 cents a day.
so do we,
You
are
might have hungry kids out with feed in Guatemala.
you gonna go ahead and make your motion that we buy 50 hours a year?
Well, we changed that to patrol hours, didn't we, from patrol hours to?
Well, we've done that every year, but it keeps coming back the same.
Yeah, well, no, the price is the same, but didn't we?
We do
We
ask,
suggested they shift it to patrol hour, yeah.
we ask for an adjustment in
Couple
the
hours.
hours, yep.
And I'm not sure how intelligent it is to advertise how many years of what the hours that they'll be down here. Generally, it was a random patrol. Nobody knew when they were going to work.
Well,
Now they're scheduling hours to be here. I'm
No,
not sure.
that's the window which they'll be here, that's not necessarily.
Well, I
full-time.
guess I don't know the wisdom in that, but I guess they do.
And I'll note that in the past years, they've come in and suggested we buy in for more hours than we had the previous year. And this year, they came in and asked for the same number of hours that we did the previous year. So I think that's an improvement in our, rather than trying to up it each time.
I have 75, 76, and 77 hours for the last 4 years. And you're right, they standardized this year and came in at 76. I think he's probably just realized
We're not gonna do it,
76.
yeah.
And it,
And a one-time savings is, all right, we can use it.
Well, I can't argue with I'm sure they've done studies on it and they know where we are, but it seems to me that we're probably the safest community in the center region.
household median income in the last 10 years, 'cause I've been using that. 10 years ago was 84,005. The new one on 2022 census is a $100,800 household median income
For Harris.
for Harris. So we've been creeping, in 10 years we've crept up 16,000 in household median.
Not my fault.
You want a motion on this?
I'd like
or-
a motion on the
Give
hours,
me a
yep.
motion on this, would you please, Joey?
What are we motioning?
On the hours per
On
week.
the hour.
I'll make a motion that we, accept the 76 hours a week at $113.32 each.
Second,
You want a premium in that motion too, or just a regular?
Just the regular's fine.
Okay. Discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Same sign, thank you.
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to discuss on the budget this week?
Polo shirt.
No, that's not a thing.
You're gonna do personnel?
We'll do that next
You're
week.
tweaking some personnel issues.
I am working on, have a proposal to promote one of our employees,
Okay.
and I'm writing the job description, so I want you to have that to review at the same time you review the rate for the employee. So we'll discuss all of that next week.
Dwight, anything from your reflective view of how this is put together this year? Has the process gone well?
Yes.
We didn't fight as much.
Yeah, better than other years.
Was it better than other years?
Yes. I would say from a long-term perspective, you want to look, you're using fund balance 2021, you're proposing to use fund balance again in 2022. With the debt payments on the new facility ramping up, you might have to consider additional revenue sources in coming years, so. That's my only point, is to look longer term. You've been using fund balance and it's not gonna last.
But you also got a $3.7 million new building out of that, so.
It's, yeah.
But you're gonna be paying for it, starting in 2022, so.
You don't build something like that without commitment.
Right, but we have, what, $260-some thousand in debt service next year.
Yeah.
So that's something as we continue on. You do have your maintenance tax, which we've been using, and I will say, I should go over the capital real quick with you too, since that's in the front of the budget. That maintenance tax has been a godsend for us because we've changed over our fleet, which has been great. But you might want to consider when you renew that, if you renew that the next time, maybe putting some of that money in towards the debt service on the building, because then it's giving you a pot of money that you can use for that. So I'll just quickly review the capital with you. This year we bought the mini excavator and the trailer.
Give me a page. You doing
It's-
capital plan?
No, the capital equipment, which is just past it's in First thing, transmittals and summary.
Summary by fund.
It's just past the payroll budget. Next page. No, you just turned
General.
you turned too far, Denny.
Okay. Too many pages. There's one stuck here. I see it. Okay.
There you go.
Okay,
Okay.
there you go.
So in 2021, we were going to replace the office vehicle, but we can't get one. We've tried. So we're going to carry that over to next year. We did get the mini excavator and we got the trailer, and we had budgeted 95 for that, and we came in at 94,600, so we were just under budget. So in 2022, we've just applied for a grant from DEP, from the recycling program, to buy a single axle truck that we'll use in our brush collection and leaf collection operations. And because we can also use it for other things, it's a prorated grant. So we'd split the cost of that 50%. So we applied for $69,692 from the state. We budgeted $69,692 out of the capital equipment fund to purchase that truck.
The difference being it's not a T-tag.
It's a single axle. It's a big truck. So it can haul the mini excavator around.
Okay.
And then we also have money in to replace again the Ford Explorer. We're going to keep the Ford Explorer. It's going to move over and live at the maintenance facility. We put $50,000 in, a little bit more money. Todd is really leaning towards wanting some kind of a smaller truck. He's looking at maybe a hybrid, even if something like that. So we have that money in the budget for next year.
I told him about 6 months ago, bring us something so we can start talking about it.
He's called around, and one of the CoStarz dealers is down in Lewistown, and he's talked with them, and they said there's all these trucks sitting, and they all need some computer chip that's sitting on a boat somewhere in China and that's not here. So that's why we pushed it off another year. We've been making do. It's a little awkward. We have to share that vehicle, but we've been making do this year. So do you have any questions on that? Frank, you look like you have a question.
2025 has a big purchase of a $150,000 toy.
That's the leaf truck, it's not a toy.
24 has the international, another street sweeper.
And again, we
Couple years
don't
out.
necessarily, we might have it in the capital equipment plan, but doesn't mean we're gonna buy
Yeah,
it if
yeah.
it doesn't need to be replaced. And the street sweeper's been discussed, and I don't know that we'll ever buy that.
Does it sweep?
Can't we do a shared kind of municipal?
We right now borrow
We have
college
been doing that.
townships to use downtown here before Memorial Day,
I thought
but
we
with
used
the
to use
MS,
What, Ferguson's breakdown? We used
Yeah.
to use Ferguson's.
with the MS4 requirements, that's another thing, the state's requiring us to do different things when we
Do
take
any
care of
of
our
those other
streets.
municipalities, are any of those municipalities replacing the sweeper this year?
No.
Or next year that we can do a shared cost on?
Not that I'm aware of. But we right now we sweep the majority of our streets with the skid loader. We put the brush on the
Yeah,
front of
yeah.
it, and that's fine. But we just have additional requirements with the MS4 permit.
Yeah, they're becoming more strict, so.
Yes. Yep.
Other questions on capital for me? I went through all of it and redlined a lot of it. Real estate tax looks, good for this year, good. I think the 250 budget is probably realistic for 2022.
Yeah. I always budget real conservatively, and then the transfer tax keeps blowing me up.
Well, we keep getting sales of some major pieces of
The
property.
bank's gonna sell down here in the next 8 hours.
What?
This bank's gonna be sold down here in the next 8 hours.
Who'd you hear that from?
Well, maybe I know. I have to hear it from somebody.
Is it going to be a Burger King? I keep hearing it's going to be
So
a Burger King.
the auction ends in about 10 hours.
It's being auctioned? I don't know any of this.
Nobody do. I don't think they're gonna get the money for it, though. There's a reserve on it. Nobody's really sure what the reserve is. So
Well, it's
far-
interesting because they indicated an absolute lack of interest in selling it to us. Anybody?
Well, there's a $100,000 bid on it right now. It is gonna get it.
Is like on eBay? Like,
No, it's on 10, it's on real estate auction, 10X auctions. So they just put it up for, I don't see it going, so don't be excited about it.
Anything else we did, you two? Have we given you enough direction to go away in confusion?
Yeah.
Okay.
We know what to do. I'll get the figure
Okay.
from Bud. I'll get that job description written. We'll get your packets ready for you Friday.
Okay.
So what are we looking, I didn't really look, what are we looking at? COLA.
So we'll talk about that next week, but we did,
in here?
the coal is ridiculously high right now because everything is ridiculously high. So we did put in 4.5% cost of living and then 1.5 merit. Yes, no, 4% cost of living and 1.5% merit.
4% is pretty low, given the market.
On the COLA?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know what it is, I really
Social
don't.
Security's going up, what, 5 points?
5.
You serious?
I had to look at what fit into our budget.
You're talking about the social security payments to the
Cost of
people
living,
or?
yeah.
or-
Cost of living is,
Wow.
Cost
Yeah.
of living's at 5.4.
I'm not sure,
Yeah.
I'm not sure when we do that big increase.
So,
They'll just take it away. They give it and they take it away.
Just optimistic.
They do, I'm telling you. Every year they take more away.
all right, move we adjourn.
Yeah.
I'll second it. Sorry.
I'm glad to see the dental in there, because that's a vital piece of insurance that I wish we had.
We're gonna vote on.
Once you get over 65, you lose that on
Aye.
the university policy too, so.
See, all right.
Aye, go
Okay.
ahead.
Craig and I vote.
Aye.
There we go.
Bye, Jeanette.
Thanks, everybody.
By the way, was Nigel on? I forgot to ask.
No, he was driving and he said.